Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. This time I can say that because I'm giving away Panthers merchandise every week to help us out through this season where it's going to be up and down, but you can count on Charlotte Vibe to be there for you. So for those who have not registered for the giveaway, you still have almost 2 more days, right? There's a link in the description for those who want to win the merchandise to go to that video, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe so that you can win that merchandise. Help us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers and have some fun along the way, hopefully, during this Carolina Panthers season. So let's go ahead and get into a few things, which is, and you guys have the ability to join the channel. So sometimes I get questions about how to join and be a supporter of the channel. That also is in the description as well. So you can go ahead and click on that link to join if you wish to do so. What's up, Shaki? Man, I said your name wrong. It's Shaq. I'm sorry. I got to practice looking at that link that you sent me a while ago so I can get that right. I think you said you just had a birthday recently. Is that right? If so, happy belated birthday. And actually, if that's the case, let me say happy birthday to my youngest, temporarily here as we're expecting another one. My youngest, his birthday is today. He is 2 years old. So let's go ahead and get into this Panthers coverage for today. As you saw there in the title, a little bit more information has come out about Bryce Young. And it's kind of funny. I was just thinking that my mom actually even calls me sometimes asking me about the football stuff for the Panthers. But Bryce Young, doctors have said that he's going to be out now 1 to 2 weeks. So that's, this is week 1 here, obviously, with the game against the Seattle Seahawks. And he could end up missing game 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. But let me go ahead and get this injury report up for everybody to take a look at. Hopefully I'm going to drag the right thing. I may not. Yay, I got it right. So, a few things. Bryce Young, so he's out. We kind of knew that was coming. Linebacker Brian Burns is dealing with his ankle. He was actually a full participant in practice today. I wonder if Brian Burns is happy that we've had this, not happy that we've had the injury, but with the injury to Bryce, the attention has gone even further away from him and his contract issues. But I wonder what his feelings were as he had that little injury he was dealing with. He said, man, I don't have a new contract. Seen a few big guys get injured this week as well. And not playing under contract is a little risky, but he says he's a team guy. Definitely seems like he is because he hasn't stopped playing. Outside linebacker Justin Houston, he's dealing with a calf. Now they have him listed as questionable, but Coach Frank Wright did say today that he fully expects Houston to go, but in some strange event that he does not go, he's comfortable with the depth that they have at that position. We also had 2 guys that are now full participants in practice whom were not earlier in the week. That'll be running back Miles Sanders, dealing with his pectoral. He's a full participant. He's going to go on Sunday. And then linebacker Chandler Wooten, dealing with the knee, but he's been a full participant for several days now. So you can count on him being active and playing this Sunday as well. Also have a transaction for you all as well. So we got one transaction. Was this a Matt Rule holdover? I'm not too sure at the moment, but yes, they released cornerback Stanley Thomas Oliver from the practice squad. They released cornerback Stanley Thomas Oliver from the practice squad, and there has not been any corresponding moves to that. Appreciate the happy birthday wishes for the little guy. And there's been some comments, and sometimes it's easier for me to just respond on voice, so I may just respond to that before I get out of here. But a few other things. Hey, my man Quentin. See, I got to put Quentin on here because Quentin is one of our members. So you see, when you are a member, you get this special badge by your name. Quentin, I hadn't seen you in a couple of days, so good to see you log in, and really appreciate the comment. Let's see if that's a bad. I want to do the applause. I should do the applause, but nevertheless, got to give a little special acknowledgement for our members when they come into the chat. Um, yeah, that's really about all I have. Bryce Young will make the trip to Seattle, so you'll see him on the sidelines this Sunday in Seattle. They said he was cleared to make that trip, and Frank Reich says he feels optimistic that Bryce will be available for us next week against the Vikings. Things have been progressing pretty good. He says he tends to be optimistic, but things are progressing pretty good, so we'll see that. Also, he gave some really high praise to Andy Dalton, so I want to know how everybody feels about Andy Dalton playing this Sunday. Do you think that he's going to do good? Do you think he's going to do bad? Coach Frank Reich said that he is one of the best 32 quarterbacks in this league. I really think he said in the world, but since I didn't exactly hear it clearly, I didn't want to say it. But he gave Andy Dalton some high praise for being a pretty good quarterback. And let me share this. I do have some stats for Andy. He's actually, 35 years old, 13th year in the league. And he has actually, wow, Quentin, I appreciate the love there, Quentin. Quentin just sent us a $5 donation through Cash App. So that is something that you all are also able to do at any time. A lot of stuff that I'm talking about, joining, winning free merchandise, et cetera, et cetera. If you guys have any questions about that, I always put that in the description in the video, as well as anytime I do a video, I'll go live so I can interact with you all. So there's a link in the description for you to come on the show at any time. Just click the link and come on, whether you have a comment, whether you have a question. Would love to interact with you all as much as possible and as much as you want to. So Quentin, appreciate you very, very much. We're independent media, 100% supported by donations, joins, super chats, all that stuff goes into making things work. So anytime you guys are able to do that, I really, really appreciate it. Myself, I will not be traveling to Seattle this weekend, partially because of the upcoming baby, but also the cost. But we will have our photographer, Patrick, will be there, so you can certainly look forward to still seeing some pictures of Bryce Young on the sidelines, Andy Dalton starting, playing, and we're going to have those pictures part of our show as always when we do our post-game show. So be sure to look out for that. And what do you say here? Quentin says, I feel great. Love when they said they would open more plays up for him. So, yeah, they did say that they would open up more plays for Andy just because of the fact that though he hasn't taken as many reps as Bryce has, he doesn't need to, but he's seen more in the NFL, so you would hope that he could react just a hair quicker. Not saying that Bryce is super slow, but you would also feel like he could absorb a lot more information because he's been in the league for some moment. So Quentin's about to come on, so let me put on my headset real quick, Quentin, and I'm gonna get to you really quickly here in just a second. Let me see here. Give me a second to put on my headphones. We're gonna bring Quentin on the show, and anybody else can come on the show as well. And we love to interact with people. So let me put this on. Hopefully, let's see. What's going on, man?
Hey, good evening, Chris. Keep pounding. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I appreciate you. You even got on the Panther blue. I like it.
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Hey, I wanted to say, man, I'm excited about Andy starting because I heard our offensive coordinator said that he was going to open up more plays for Andy. And, being a seasoned veteran, I really think he's ready to handle it. I think he was ready at the beginning of the season, but we had to give Bryce a shot. But, man, I'm excited.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that somebody is excited for this. Amidst all the ups and downs that we've been having. And you know what? I was saying earlier, and I kind of got sidetracked with Andy being in the league 13 seasons. He's actually gotten better as his career has gone on. So I'm going to share some quick stats with you. His best season was in 2015 with the Bengals, right? That was his bar none best season. But his second best season was last year when he was with the Saints.
No.
Yeah, so he had a 95 quarterback rating. He had his best touchdown to interception ratio, 2-1, 18 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. and nearly had 3,000 yards passing in those 14 games that he played with the Saints last year.
He was coached properly.
Some people in the league say they have not been coached properly, but yeah, you could definitely say he was coached properly. So, you know, I think
Oh,
it's a reason to be optimistic. Go ahead.
one more thing. I'm excited for the play behind Shaq, man. It didn't fall off too much, and to me, it looked a little lively, and those guys were getting the spots, man, and they kept us in there as long as they could.
Yeah, Camus did play really, really well. And it was ironic that Shaq was one of his biggest supporters during the preseason or training camp and preseason for this guy getting some reps. So they played well, and the Saints did take advantage of our defense a little bit more in that second half. But I think this is just because they were just wearing things down, and we weren't putting up points. I mean, we did come back at the last, I don't know what point, but it was toward the end of the game. We put 7 points on the board, which was good. But defense has still definitely been pretty solid. A great point, man. I super appreciate you all the support that you have for the channel,
I
and
have
for you
one
coming.
more,
Yeah,
one more if you don't mind. Do you have any insight on who's calling the plays as far as Frank or our offensive coordinator Josh?
yeah. So Frank is going to continue to call plays for the unforeseeable future. He said that yeah, there's probably some improvement that he could do there, but he's still pretty comfortable with the things as they are now. Likes calling the plays. Feels like just like with everybody else, he'll get a little bit better at that. And right now, he's not considering. I don't think it's time to put Thomas in there to call the plays.
Thanks for that, Chris. I appreciate you come being on and everything. Keep pounding and have a great weekend.
Oh, you too, man. Appreciate you very much. So that is how easy it is to come on to the show. Ask any questions, have any comments, whatever you want to know about the Panthers football. We're here for you. And yeah, so I went through the information I had about Andy Dalton, Jake Luton. We'll back him up. So even though Luton's not even been with the team, but since I think Wednesday of this week, maybe Thursday, is when Luton came with the team. But he's been with us in the preseason, so it's not going to be, excuse me, like you're bringing a guy that just has no familiarity with the team at all to come in here and back up should anything unfortunately happen to Andy this Sunday in Seattle. The Mad Chatter, man, I love this name, Matt. A lot more you need to come on the show. It's pretty fun when everybody does come on the show. The Mad Chatter says, "Let it rip." Bryce, I saw he was afraid to let it rip, hesitated. Well, you don't have to worry about that because he's not going to be able to be. He's not even suiting up. He will make the trip. It's going to be Bryce that is quarterbacking this team. I'm sorry, it's going to be Andy Dalton that is quarterbacking this team this weekend. Happy birthday, Chris. So appreciate the happy birthdays. Of course, it's not for me. It's my son's birthday today. He's 2 years old. My birthday is later in the year in December. I will let you know when it is because I will appreciate my happy birthday wishes. But thank you, Chatter, for the happy birthday. I'll be sure to share it with the little guy. Luton said, Luton should have never been put off the practice squad. I don't think it's a big deal. One of the reasons that he didn't make the squad that had been around because Frank has mentioned that he really likes to, at the very beginning of the season, leave that position open for that third quarterback. Doesn't like to fill that until later on because he wants to maximize it with some of the other positions. And at least this is what Frank said, So according to his plan, this is kind of how he wanted to do it anyway. Use that spot for other guys that he's figuring out the roster and the depth. And then at some point early in the season, bring that third quarterback onto the roster, which we now have. So I think I'm going to be a little proud dad here for a moment. Show you a picture of me. There's me and the little guy, turned 2 years old, out at the park having some fun. So it is that little guy's birthday today, and we'll celebrate a little bit today, some more tomorrow. Chatter says, I think Thielen getting pretty open Getting open pretty good. Yeah, Thielen's been getting better at getting open. All right, so that'll wrap us up for this Friday afternoon. Remember, subscribe if you want to win some of the merchandise. Links in the description. If you want to support us in any other kind of ways, several different ways that you can do that, those links are in the description as well. We'll certainly see you at the latest Sunday. Pre-game show will be 2:15ish because I think the game's at 4:05. So the pre-game show will be at 2 o'clock. We'll make it easy. I could say 2:05. We'll make it at 2 o'clock. And that's it. See you soon. And thanks for everybody for watching. Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe.